Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
You know her as a comedian, you know her as a talk show host, but a lot of you know her as her third credit. There's lots more, give her three, a playwright. And I say I have nothing but admiration because I start to write something and the drawer keeps opening and closing, waiting for me to put the stuff away. But Joy is very disciplined, and she deserves all those titles. When you say playwright, explain what that is all about.
Well, first of all, that's not so true about you, because one of the things that I'm really good at is organizing groups, right?
Right.
That you know. I have my psychodrama group. I have my writing group that you're in. And every time we have a session of the writing group, you come up with great stuff, Joan. You have a book in you, and it's coming out little at a time. So, but the playwright thing, go ahead. What did you want to say?
No, I wanted to hear. Tell me about playwriting and how it happened.
Oh, well, I have these conversations going on in my head. You could say that's mentally ill, but it's not. I'm thinking about conversations my mother had with my father, but my Aunt Rose had with her husband, but all sorts of conversations that go on in my head. So I was at some place years and years ago, somebody's house, my friend Angela, and I wrote a scene, and it was funny, and people liked it. And from there, I just kept doing it. So now I write full plays. I have 5 short ones called Bonkers in the Burrows. They're all comedies coming up in the New York Comedy Festival, November 3rd, 4th, and 5th, which I will plug again on your show when we get closer.
You will.
And that's happening. And then I have another play that I wrote, a 1.5-hour play about a woman, and her journey. So I'm writing.
And you're doing that, but is writing plays very different from the other things that you write? Is it a different discipline?
Oh, you mean as opposed to writing a short story or an essay?
You're right, or an essay.
Yeah, but writing plays, structurally, you need to be able to do structure. You need an arc in anything that you write. It starts here, it goes to here, and then it's resolved there. So it's the same in writing in any form. But playwriting, you need to have a good ear for dialogue, too. So that's what you need there, too. That's what makes it a little different, yeah.
And what about comedy? You started out doing stand-up, right?
Yes, I did.
In the beginning.
Yes, when I was almost 40, I started.
And
yeah,
did you ever turn away from it in those beginning years?
Well, it was very hard. The first time I got on stage, I did really well. I played a character from the neighborhood, a woman who gives news in the Italian neighborhood.
Right.
I'll give you one of them for you. Former bodyguard Carmine Russo has become a faith healer. There isn't a cripple left in the neighborhood since Carmine has been pronouncing his miraculous words, "Walk or I'll break both your legs." All right, that's one of them. That was a news item, right? It's politically incorrect now. The whole thing is PI. I can't even do it anymore.
Yeah.
But it was comedy. It's comedy. People need to lighten up a little bit. So I did that, and it killed on stage. It was 10 o'clock at the Improv, full house, killed. The next time I got on stage, the same act, died like a dog.
Was it the same place or a different?
Same place, same material, different hour. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. There were 4 people in the audience, and the material doesn't work if you don't have a big enough audience, And then I thought, what?
Yeah, no, but when they're staring at you and you're up there and you're used to laughter and nothing happens.
It's a nightmare.
How do you get through that? Do you just push?
You have to know how to. After a while, you develop a technique as a comedian. It takes. Malcolm Gladwell says that it takes 10,000 hours to be good at something. Really, So it takes them years to be good at this, and it's not an exact science. So you get up there and you have to learn to work the crowd. Where you're from, what do you do? So you have to have a natural talent and humor in order to do the job also, because you will have those hard nights. So that's
Yeah.
what you do. You kind of work the house.
And I can never imagine how you can stand there doing it. And if it's a bad house and no one is laughing and they're looking
Yeah.
at you expectantly, like, okay,
Horror.
make
It's a horror.
make me laugh. You
Yeah, it's
got to
terrible.
tough, right? You've got to really step over it and keep going.
Well, today on my show on The View, during the commercial break, we take questions from the audience. So somebody said, what's some secret thing that you're trying to do that's very risky? And they were like, oh, I like to scuba diving. I want to go skydiving. I want to jump off a cliff. And I'm like, try getting up in front of 3 drunks at 3 in the morning and make them laugh. Try that. Forget about jumping off a cliff.
It's funny,
hard
but
to
it's
do.
true. It's
I know.
very hard. And what happens if you do it and they don't laugh at all?
Well,
What
then
do
you just have to, you try to pull yourself together and say, well, maybe it was the audience. You
But
try
it
to
might have-
rationalize.
It
Well,
might
you
have
have to-
been.
Yeah, you have to test the material, too, to make sure that it's going to be funny. And then you have to have enough material. So this is my school of thought anyway. Everybody works differently. But let's say this particular material doesn't work about my Italian upbringing when they used to take me to the cemetery and say it was a vacation. Let's say the audience doesn't laugh at that. Now I have to switch to when I was married, and this is what we did. So then you have to change it around. So you have to have enough stuff to jump around. That helps.
And do they ultimately start to laugh if you keep on pushing through?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to do. It really is. I mean, look, I've gone on stage following Rodney Dangerfield, following, the best comedians in the business. It's very difficult to do. And, you have to go up after somebody who was just killed. It's hard, but we do it because we love it in a way.
Yeah, you do love it in your own way. And is it, when you're doing talk show host, is that easiest of all the skills?
Yes, I think so. The hardest part of my job as a talk show person, because I have my sisters there picking up the slack. It's not just me alone on stage.
Right.
I always say when you do stand-up, the ladies, when you're doing stand-up, you're naked and everybody else is dressed. That's how it feels. But in this situation, we're all naked up there, sort of, and so people pick it up if I drop the ball, somebody else says something. So the onus is not completely on you. So that's easier to do. Is that your question? Was it easier? Yeah.
Is it a lot easier to do? And
the hard part, during the summer, you were at my house, in fact. We were having dinner at my house, remember? And I asked the assembled guests, what was the best part of your summer? Do you remember what you said?
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I don't remember it either. No. I only remember what I said.
What did you say?
What I said was that the easiest part of the summer and the best part of it was I could watch the news, as miserable as it is, and not have to think of what I'm going to say on television about it. Yeah. I just could have the same experience that everybody else has, which is watch the news and vote, And so my job requires that I have a take on things, that I have an opinion. And then, of course, the opinion falls on people who don't like my opinion and they get mad. But that's part of the job, too.
Yeah. How do you deal with that? If people decide they're going to take out whatever kind of angst they have on you or on one of the other women who are doing it, how do you ever adapt to that or get used to that?
You don't ever get used to it. I mean, it's annoying. And then you look up their profile and you see why they're angry with you, because they completely disagree with me politically. Mm-hmm. And that's why they're mad at me. You say, and I accept that. Fine, I don't care. Let them say what they want. It's a free country. But you know what? You're anonymous and I'm not. So it's really not an equal playing field, is it?
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit. at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, here we go.
New Phineas and Ferb is here.
We're back, baby.
For 104 more days
I know what we're gonna do today.
of summer vacation.
I am ready for summer shenanigans. Let's do it. Oh, yeah.
We're gonna bust Phineas and Ferb once and for all.
Are we gonna do this again?
New inventions, shenanigans, innators, adventures, and songs.
Brand new summer vacation.
New Phineas and Ferb starts June 5th on Disney Channel and next day on Disney Plus on DisneyPlus.Disney.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
No, or not at all.
Yeah.
And once you started writing plays,
Yeah.
now is it to a different kind of audience? It's one thing to get up there and do stand-up
Yeah.
or
Well,
be in a
the fact-
panel.
The 5 plays that I wrote, these are all short 10-minute plays. It's going to be maybe a little longer than an hour show. I will be in one of them. I decided I'll put myself in one just so that people, you know, who are interested in me can come and see me too. And then I have Susie Essman's going to be in the play, and Renee Taylor is going to be in one of them, and I have maybe Mario Cantone might do it. I have to call him. And so we're all going to have a lot of fun with that. It's different acting. Acting is different because you're not yourself up there. You're playing a character. So that's different from stand-up, where it's you. And if they don't like you, that means they don't like you, not the material, not the character, you.
And
See.
did it ever bother you that they might not like you, or you develop a thick skin?
I've got a it's been like 40 years now since I've been doing all this. So, you know, I kind of have a thick skin about it at this point. I know I don't dwell on it. It's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Right. And a lot of things have changed since you started doing this. What do you find people really want to hear about or care about? Is it still political, or they're happy just to schmooze with you?
Well, in this period of history in the United States, I mean, there's a lot of crazy politics going on right now. I mean, I personally believe that democracy is hanging in the balance. And if the wrong people get power, we're really going to get screwed. So I feel like it's important to talk about those things, and people seem to be interested. And our ratings are very high on The View. We're the number one talk show. I think the only, on day and night, that is. I think the only show that beat us is Colbert. That's not Kimmel and not Fallon and not Good Morning, not any of those shows. The View is number one. So you might ask, why is that? I think it's because we tell the truth. People know we're telling the truth. If we give out a fact that's incorrect, ABC News corrects us and we correct it on the air. We're one of these shows that people watch to hear the truth. And they hear our opinions also, but they also hear facts.
And is it fun for you to do, or do you feel a lot of pressure to come up with
Every
stuff?
day is different, Joan. It's like any other day of the week, you know. Some days I like it. Some days I don't like it. You know, it's like anything. I've been doing it for 26 years.
I know, but it still sounds fresh, which is a tribute.
Well, the reason it sounds fresh is because it's all from the top of my head. So I'm not working on it with a script here. And the same with my ladies. We're all just, you know, shooting from the hip in a way.
And has the writer's strike really had an impact, or you guys were always free?
Well, we like having the writers. You know, we like them. They set up the intros. They give me a line maybe once in a while. I can't say that we can't function without them. We've been doing it. I miss them, though. I would like them back, and I wish they would solve this immediately. It's easier when they're around. But
Well.
we're doing it with mostly we talk off the top, like I said, off the top. And so you don't really need a writer for that exactly. But we love having them. We want them back.
And when you do a show like The View, are there rehearsals or you guys just get up there?
No, in the morning we get a list of topics, like about 25 or 40 topics sometimes, of what's going on that day. Some of them are political, some of them are relationship. I mean, we get them from everywhere. Today we did a topic about a guy who went 5 states, left his wife and kids to go 5 states away to help his mother, who was very not feeling well, and he never went back to his wife.
Oh, you're kidding.
He never went back. The wife said, and he wants the wife to come to him, and she's like, "No, I'm not." So that was one topic, and then there was a topic about Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner,
right?
And how they have little children, 1-year-old and 3-year-old, and the media is going after Sophie because she's in London, leaves the kids with him. He's on tour with the kids, and people are going after her for having a good time in London. So the question was whether that's sexist to put it all on the mother. So these are the topics. So we get a bunch of these in the morning. And, of course, we talked about Pence, who seems to be turning on Trump a little bit. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And Biden's numbers are going down, and we don't understand why, because he seems to have done a lot for the country. So we talked about that. And then we go to we talk about it in the meeting. We go over the sort of like who wants to do this, who wants to do that. And then we go out on the air and do it. Or we read some research. We always read research, and then we do it. That's it. No rehearsal.
And do you think people understand what it is about Biden that they're being turned off a little bit?
Well, one of the problems is I think that, Michelle Obama famously said, when they go low, we go high. Well, it's time for the Biden administration to go low. They need to Biden won't even say Trump's name. He calls him the previous guy or something. He needs to go after him and really tell the truth about his opponents because Trump has no morals. He has no ethics. He's a criminal, basically, in my opinion, and a thug. And they're treating him with kid gloves over on the Democratic side. No, speak up. It's like I was talking today about this. Biden said to Hillary when she was running, Hillary Clinton, don't bring up the Access Hollywood tape. People know what he said. That's not correct. She should have gone after him about that to show how sexist and piggy that behavior was. But she didn't because they're trying to be high a level. They're trying to keep a high level of conversation. It's not working.
And also, she was a little afraid that they'd turn back on her and her situation.
Well, that may be true, too. But I think that because she was a woman, she felt that she had to always maintain a certain decorum, or they'll say she's a bitch, or they'll say she's a hellion, all sorts of things. It's harder for a woman in that position. But Joe Biden, all they can say about him is that he's old. That's it. Because the guy has been doing a decent job.
No,
inflation is down. He's taking on the pharmaceutical industry and cutting the cost of insulin. The other party won't do that for you.
Yeah.
The other party wants to take Medicare away from you and hurt you in Social Security. So people need to know this, and the only way they're going to know it is if his group tells it to the American people.
I'm talking to Joy Behar, who's a talk show host, a playwright, and
an all-around
comedian.
Big mouth.
And a what?
An all-around big mouth.
Yeah, a big mouth. But she's also a cook. Makes a makes a lot of delicious things. And
what did I make for you last time? What was it? Oh, lasagna, my usual.
Yeah, but we like that. We had delicious lasagna with a tomato sauce on the side. Really yummy. And that olive bread, which you didn't make, that was like the best olive bread I ever had.
You know where I got that? On Broadway and 62nd Street. Bread. It's called Bread. The place called Bread.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, it's good. That's where you should go get that. It's so good.
Yeah,
I know. They have great stuff.
Now, you've got all these groups, psychodrama. Like, what is that? And what good is
psychodrama?
that? Yeah.
Well, psychodrama is a way to solve problems. I'm not a psychotherapist, so we don't go deep. we're not going to talk about your mother and blah, blah, blah. Right. Although mothers sometimes are brought in there. It's like a room where you can talk to other people and say what's bothering you and then act out a scene. So let's say you had a fight with your boss, right? And you feel intimidated and you feel upset. Let's see how that fight went. And then let's see how the scene would go the way you wanted it to go. Or somebody will double for you, stand behind you, and tell your boss what you wanted to say. Something. So it's role playing. It's doubling. We call it doubling. It's role reversal. You sit in your boss's seat so you can see where he's coming from. It's fascinating stuff.
And it works.
It does work. It does work. I mean, one of our friends did it, and then we corrected her relationship with her son-in-law in one session. It was beautiful to watch.
Oh, and no one could believe it because they hadn't gotten along for like 10 years.
Exactly. But she reversed with her son-in-law. She reversed roles with her daughter, and she came to a conclusion that she could behave in a different way. And it corrected the situation. It was brilliant.
Yeah, she did. And it was really amazing to watch it. So the plays that you're working on, what is your aspiration for that?
You know what? I don't have high aspirations for these plays because I know how difficult it is to get a play on Broadway, even off Broadway. But I would just like to see my plays done by any kind of an audience. I think they would work out of town, not necessarily in New York. I think that my play Crisis in Queens, which is being directed by Elaine May, that play is funny and should be seen by audiences everywhere, in my opinion. I hope so. So, we'll probably do it in New Jersey and upstate New York first, and we'll see where it goes. I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, but and I have been at a couple of those readings, and I think it's definitely a New York thing.
Well, it's a very
people relate
New York
to
thing.
it and get it.
Yeah.
It
basically takes place in Middle Village, Queens. So a lot of people can relate to that in New York, I think. It's a blue-collar family, Italian-American, a woman who's unhappy in her marriage and blames it on her husband. Well, who hasn't done that?
Right. But it works. I mean, we blame it on someone. It doesn't really matter as long as we don't take the responsibility.
Yeah, but she learns her lesson. And by the way, in that play, there is a psychodrama in that play. I don't want to give the whole thing away.
No, don't. But did I miss that? No.
No, you'll see it again. Believe me, I'll be dragging you to all the readings, John.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm a good person to be at a reading
You are.
because we're all desperate to laugh, and they're all funny. And they all hit home. You've got to be able to share this stuff.
My main objective right now is to sort of bring people together. Even though I know that I'm very, divisive in many ways, and people don't like me because they don't like my opinions and what have you. But I really have a desire. I want people to be. That's why I create these groups. I think that there's too much loneliness going on in the country, and people need to come together, if it's in the theater, and then laugh about stuff too. Go to church, go to temple where there are people. People need to get together with each other a lot. Dinner parties. You and I are big on that. We love our dinner parties.
Yeah, but I don't think. Do you feel lonely ever? You're surrounded by an army.
No. I don't feel lonely. Loneliness is you can feel lonely in the middle of New York City on New Year's Eve.
Right.
That's inside. That's an inside job, I think. But but on the other hand, it can be corrected. You're lonely, so then do something about it. Find people. Get over your shyness, your introverted personality. Reach out a little bit.
No,
be curious.
True.
Be interested in the other person.
Hey, Fidelity. How can I remember to invest every month?
With the Fidelity app, you can choose a schedule and set up recurring investments in stocks and ETFs.
Oh, that sounds easier than I thought.
You got this.
Yeah, I do. Now, where did I put my keys?
You will find them where you left them.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Not all EVs are created equal. The Ioniq 9 sets a new standard. Hyundai's first all-electric EV with 3 rows. Space in an EV. Finally. Plus, with over 300 miles of range, ultra-fast charging capability, and tech infused with safety features, this isn't just space, it's freedom reimagined. More room, more possibilities. Learn more about the Ioniq 9 at HyundaiUSA.com. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
McCrispy strips are now at McDonald's. I hope you're ready for the most dippable chicken in McDonald's history. Dip it in all the sauces. Dip it in that hot sauce in your bag. Dip it in your McFlurry. Your dip is your business. McCrispy strips at McDonald's.
It's true. I get a lot of phone calls, and what do you think they want? If it's a woman, she wants to meet a man. And I always say to them, then you've got to leave your apartment. You can't stay in your apartment night and day and say, woe is me, I can't meet anyone. Of course you can't, unless you're standing at the elevator all day. There's no way. Did you ever feel lonely in New York?
No, I always had a big Italian. I feel lonely. I miss my big Italian family. They're all gone, except for one aunt. Who's not well, and I really do miss it. I was just watching Rocco and His Brothers. Did you ever see that movie? It's a 3-hour Italian movie, and one of the scenes is the whole Italian family eating dinner and having fun. And I got very nostalgic for my family because my mother, father, my aunts and uncles. I was surrounded by a huge bunch of Italians, and they're all gone, and I miss every one of them. At the time, I wanted to strangle half of them, but now that they're gone, it's like, where was my family? So I create more families. My psychodrama group is a family. My writing group's a family. My playwriting group everybody's a family now to me.
Yeah, but that makes you happy, and it makes your daughter happy, and your adorable grandson.
Yes. You know, we're a small family. I have one child. She has one child. Her husband is an only child. We're a very small family. So it's about friends now. You know, it's a lot about friends.
Yeah, and surround yourself with family too, and you include a lot of people in a lot of things, and
I do.
It's important, and you have a husband who's willing to
yes, he's
whatever.
good. He's great. He's a great guy. But just to conclude this conversation, because I have to go now, because I got to go back to work for a meeting. We have meetings in the afternoon.
That's okay.
Remember what Woody Allen said, 99% of success is showing up.
That's right.
All right, maybe he's not the perfect person to be quoting at the moment.
Because sometimes we wish he didn't show up, but it's okay.
Yeah, but I worked with Woody a couple of times, and, you know, but anyway, he that's what he said. And I think that's true. 99% of success is showing up. So if you want to meet a guy, you got to show up to someplace where a guy is, right?
That's right. Play golf.
You know? The guy will go down to Wall Street where the guys with money. If you want somebody with money, you know, somebody wants to. I basically do not like men with money. I don't like that.
I know that was your mother made a mistake with that.
I like to make my own money.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, if you grew up where I did in the 5 towns, it wasn't like that.
No, I can imagine.
You know, it's. And he's so successful.
Yeah.
No matter what, you know, people.
Well,
a lot of people.
That's kind of old school, though, isn't it? Old school. Women want to make their own money now. I think it's more. You have more control. You're more independent. I once said to my mother, "Ma, if you could do it over, would you rather be a doctor or a doctor's wife?" Without missing a beat, she said, "A doctor's wife."
Yeah. Well, she was right. But you never got the message, nor did I. I had a mom like yours who said you can be anything you want. Go do it. Just do it. You can do it. And I believed her. Anyway, my dear, you'll come visit me again.
I will, anytime you want. Anytime you want, John. I'm there for you, baby.
Okay, I know. And enjoy the day. We'll talk soon.
You too, honey. Okay.
I'm Joan Hamburg. That's Joy Behar, who's a talk show host, a playwright, a comedian, and she does it all, wears all those hats, has a good time, and shares with the rest of us. Stay tuned, everyone. There's a lot more ahead.